since like 2017, going hard, spending all my money, you know, doing whatever to get where I'm at now.
Okay, and I guess for a while now, you've had a 9-to-5 job.
Yes, sir.
When the stage lights fade, some rap legends don't fall off. They clock in.
I think about between 16 and 15, man, I had about 12 jobs in 1 year, just trying to, you know, live different, man, trying to elevate, trying to do something different. Instead of being my own boss, let me go get a job.
BFB Da Pacman went from viral success to working as a mailman even after hitting millions of streams. Bun B, a Southern pioneer, now lectures at Rice University and runs one of America's top burger joints. And a few others made pivots even more surprising. Here are the rap stars who traded fame for normal jobs and why they chose that path. BFB Da Pacman. Let's jump off with one of the realest, most uncut voices to ever bless the game. BFB Da Pacman, government name Tyree Jawan Thomas, straight out of the grimy streets of Flint, Michigan. This ain't your typical come-up story. Nah, this is way more authentic than that. Check it. Picture a young bull surviving getting shot at 17, catching gun and drug charges, just trying to make it out the mud by any means necessary.
I think about between 16 and 15, man, I had about 12 jobs in 1 year, just trying to, you know, live different, man, trying to elevate, trying to do something different. Instead of being my own boss, let me go get a job. Let me go, you know, let me just try something different.
After he finished his probation back in 2015, Homie relocated to Houston and got himself a gig at the United States Postal Service. And this wasn't no plan B type situation. This was his foundation, his anchor. While all his homies was out here chasing fast money and quick licks, BFB was punching that clock, delivering packages, and recording heat in his closet whenever he got off shift. His big break dropped in 2020 with Free Joe Exotic, a collab with Sada Baby that racked up over 10 million views on YouTube in like 6 weeks flat. The track was everything mainstream hip-hop wasn't trying to be: self-aware, funny as hell, and completely honest about his weight and his struggles. Bars like, "My about to leave me cause I'm built like Patrick," became instant viral moments. And just like that, this mailman from Flint was the talk of the streets. His first album, Fat Need Love Too, had features from heavyweights like Wiz Khalifa and Benny the Butcher, proving he had real juice in the industry. But yo, here's the wildest part of BFB's whole situation. Through all of this, the millions of streams, the festival performances, the collabs with certified legends, my man never quit his job at USPS. In interviews, he kept it 100 about why he stayed.
And were you rapping at that point?
Yeah, I always rap. I started taking raps. I always rapped since I was young, man. My cousin, his name's Smoke, he was like a rapper and he lived in Topeka, Kansas. And I think they said Too Short or Ice Cube had called the phone and he never fulfilled his dreams or something like that.
The Postal Service was offering something rap couldn't guarantee in these streets: steady bread, health benefits, and a union that actually had his back.
Okay, listen, man, there's no shame in having a job. I think people in hip hop try to glamorize doing illegal to get by and not having a job when you're taking a way bigger risk doing anything illegal.
Oh, no, facts. And I'd be quick to tell her, listen, ain't no shame, bro.
Even when he's on tour, BFB keeps that job.
You mentioned that you shot the video with Sada Baby. The next morning you had to take your kids to daycare and then you had to be to work at the post office. Yeah. At this point in time, you have a distribution situation with a serious distributor. That you just put your new album out. You're still not working at the post office, are you?
Yeah.
You still are?
Yeah.
You have to be part-time though.
This how it is, right? So after I come off tour, after I get done running around, I go back home and go back to work.
Still to this day?
Still to this day.
By 2025, even with an estimated net worth sitting at around 7 million, Homie is still putting in work at USPS. He drops albums, performs at local shows in Flint, and keeps it pushing with his day job. His message is clear as day: ain't no shame in having a regular job while you chase your dreams. Bun B. Now let's chop it up about a certified Southern legend, a cat who helped put Texas hip-hop on the map. Bun B, born Bernard James Freeman, straight out of Port Arthur, Texas. Born March 19th, 1973, Bun B is one half of the iconic duo UGK, Underground Kings. And when we talk about pioneers of that dirty South sound, this OG's name gotta be mentioned. No cap. Bun B's come up started in the late 80s when he linked up with Chad Pimp C Butler in high school, forming what would become one of the most influential groups in Southern Southern rap history.
Big Pimpin' came about with basically Jay-Z calling us up, said he had a nice track, thought that we would sound good on it. Said the track Oprah, and I was like, yeah, I can dig that, now that shouldn't be a problem, and it was different, than anything we had really done previously with UGK, but I knew it was gonna be a big record. Lil Pimp had his own reservations about it as far as just making sure that it didn't take us too far in a direction that we couldn't come back from. At the end of the day, it ended up being a big record for us. Oh, absolutely, it almost didn't happen.
Their chemistry was undeniable. Bun B brought that rapid-fire intellectual flow, while Pimp C provided those soulful, blues-tinged beats. Together, they created the blueprint for the Dirty South movement that would eventually take over the entire game. Their 1992 debut, Too Hard to Swallow, introduced the world to their raw, unapologetic sound, with Pocket Full of Stones getting national radio play. But it was 1996's Ridin' Dirty that really put UGK on the map, hitting number 2 on the R&B hip-hop charts. Then came the big one. Their 2000 collab with Jay-Z on Big Pimpin' catapulted them into mainstream consciousness. By 2007, their double album Underground Kings hit number 1 on the Billboard 200, with International Players' anthem I Choose You becoming a certified hood classic. But the game changed forever when Pimp C passed away in 2007 from a drug overdose. For Bun B, this wasn't just losing a partner, this was losing a brother. Without Pimp's production magic and creative partnership, Bun B's solo work, while critically acclaimed, just didn't have that same UGK energy. Albums like Trill OG and Return of the Trill were dope, but it felt like closing chapters rather than new beginnings. The industry was changing too. Streaming was taking over, and even legends were struggling with those pennies per stream payouts. So what did Bun B do? In 2011, he became an adjunct professor at Rice University, teaching a course called Religion and Hip Hop Culture. Yeah, you read that right. A street MC from Port Arthur, Texas, teaching at one of the most prestigious universities in the country. Professor Anthony Penn invited him after seeing how thoughtful and deep Bun B was about hip-hop's spiritual dimensions. Now peep this, Bun B ain't just teaching, he's also running his own burger spot.
Today is going to be a very difficult interview for me to do because it's hard to interview a family member. Because you be like, damn, where do you start? Where do you damn, I know everything, but I hope I do. So I'm doing this for y'all. Today, I got the king of the trio.
I'm making my head fit on the poster.
Yeah, the man with the #1 burger in America, okay? UGK. You feel me? I got Bun B in the house.
I'm so happy to be here.
By 2025, at 52 years old, Bun B's teaching role is a cornerstone of his identity. His days involve cataloging artifacts, lecturing, discussing social justice issues like police brutality and voting rights, real community work. He's also running Trill Burgers, his Houston-based burger joint, proving he's about that entrepreneur life too.
So what's the Trill Burger experience? Walk us through.
The Trill Burger experience is really, most burgers, when people eat hamburgers, they're really not addicted to the burger. They're addicted to the condiments that they like on the burger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So typically when you go somewhere and get a burger, regardless of what the burger have on it, if you like mayonnaise, you're going to put some mayonnaise on the burger. Yeah. If you like mustard, you're going to put it on there. But that's because that's what you like, because a patty typically don't really taste like You know what I'm saying? It's just like a steak. A real good steak don't need steak sauce.
With an estimated net worth around $4 million, Homie could easily be living lavish. But instead, he's choosing to give back, teach, and preserve hip-hop culture. Gerardo Mejia, Rico Suave. Aight, let's switch gears and talk about a cat who brought Latino flavor to the game in a major way. Gerardo Mejia, better known as Rico Suave, born April 16, 1965 in Guayaquil, Ecuador. This brother came to the States when he was 12, settling in Glendale, California, and immediately started soaking up that multicultural LA scene. Before music, Gerardo was a beast at breakdancing, winning a national contest as a teenager and pocketing $50,000. He developed his signature locking dance style and started getting acting gigs in movies like Can't Buy Me Love and Colors. But what really had him fired up was the lack of positive Latino representation in hip-hop. Most of what he saw was either stereotypical or straight disrespectful. So Homie created the Rico Suave persona, a smooth-talking, confident Latin lover who flipped stereotypes on their head. Signed to the up-and-coming Interscope Records, he dropped Rico Suave in 1990, and that joint took off like a rocket. The track peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 2 on the Hot Rap Singles singles chart, and the video, with Gerardo shirtless, rocking a bandana, leading backup dancers, became an MTV staple. Lines like, "I'm not too cool to get my hands dirty," resonated with fans, and the song spent 18 weeks on the charts, earning 2 MTV Video Music Award nominations. At 25, Gerardo was one of the first Latino artists to achieve major crossover success in the US, helping put Interscope on the map. His debut album, Mo Ritmo, went gold, selling over 500,000 copies. But here's where things get real. Fame started eating at him. Fam. By 2003, after years of infidelity and internal struggle, Gerardo hit rock bottom during what he calls his wake-up call. He confessed everything to his wife, and in that moment of complete brokenness, he turned back to his Christian faith. He told Oprah in 2016, "I knew I was a dirtbag, but that confession became the first step toward redemption." Fast forward to 2025, and at 60 years old, Gerardo is now Pastor G, leading House of Grace Church in Ashland, Kentucky. Yeah, you heard that right. From Latin heartthrob to small-town preacher. He and Kathy reconciled after years of healing, and together they built a non-denominational church that emphasizes authenticity over performance. His message is simple but powerful. Don't wear a mask, be yourself. His youth ministry focuses on Hispanic and Appalachian communities, using his Rico Suave past as a cautionary tale about fame's pitfalls. The church pays modestly, probably around $40,000 to $60,000 annually for small-town pastors, but it's supplemented by his Rico Suave coffee brand launched in 2024 and royalties from his music catalog. I Love McConnon. Now let's talk about a cat who represents a whole different era of hip-hop. I Love McConnon, born McConnon Kamali Sharon on April 12, 1989, in South LA. His big break came in 2014 when he dropped Tuesday, originally Club, Going Up on a Tuesday, produced by Sunny Digital and Metro Boomin. The track was woozy, off-kilter, with McConnon singing about Molly-fueled nights in this cartoonish falsetto that shouldn't have worked but somehow did. Then Drake heard it and dropped an unsolicited remix, and boom. The song shot to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, got a Grammy nomination, and McConnon signed to OVO Sound. But then things started falling apart. OVO kept delaying his projects. Tracks from his album sat unreleased for months. Old tweets dissing Drake as corny resurfaced in 2016, creating tension. Then in 2017, McConnon came out as gay on Twitter, becoming one of the first openly gay rappers in mainstream hip-hop. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Friends distanced themselves, streams dipped, and he told Hot New Hip Hop in 2025 they had a few years of just silence. By 2024, he officially announced he was done with the I Love McConnon name, saying, "It's time I move on and go live my life." Then in August 2025, a video surfaced that had the internet going crazy. I Love McConnon in a kitchen, wearing an apron, cooking. The jokes came fast and hard. People clowned him for falling off, for going from Drake collabs to flipping burgers. But here's the real story. McConnon was fundraising for Burn Money Studios, his Portland creative space that had been damaged by fire. He was working as a guest chef, and he made it clear he wasn't embarrassed at all.
I'm literally at work type shit. Look at all these people out here. They hungry and shit, you know? I mean, they're working and getting this money. You know what I'm saying? If you need me to come guest chef at your spot, holla at me. Let me know what city I'm coming through, cooking up. We got the smash burgers going off tonight, you know? I'm tired already though, but you know, I love cooking for the people. So if y'all need me to pull up, let me know where.
The cooking gigs, probably paying around $30,000 to $50,000 annually for line cooks, supplement his roughly $1 million net worth from music. But more importantly, it grounds him in a way fame never did. He clapped back at critics on social media. "Y'all turned y'all back on me." And he's right. The same industry that lifted him up when Drake co-signed, abandoned him when he came out, and when his sound didn't fit the algorithm anymore. But I Love McConnon is still creating under the name Macaregan, still dropping occasional tracks, still living his truth. Kellis. Now let's talk about a sister who's always done things her own way. Kellis Rogers, born August 21st, 1979 in Harlem, New York. This queen brought a unique blend of R&B, hip-hop, soul, and electronic music to the game, and her voice, raw, powerful, unapologetic, made her impossible to ignore. A friend connected her to the Neptunes, Pharrell and Chad Hugo in 1997, and their chemistry was instant. Virgin Records signed her in 1998, and in 1999, she dropped her debut Kaleidoscope, entirely produced by the Neptunes. The lead single, Caught Out There, became a feminist anthem with its raw chorus, I Hate You So Much Right Now, going gold internationally and hitting number 54 on the UK singles chart. But yo, her biggest moment came in 2003 with Milkshake. The song hit number 3 on the Hot 100, number 2 in the UK, and became a cultural phenomenon. The lyrics were suggestive, the beat was infectious, and Kellis's confidence was undeniable. Her album Tasty sold over 500,000 copies in the US, and she was everywhere. Videos on MTV, performing on award shows, the whole nine. But behind the scenes, things were falling apart. As a teenage signee, Kellis got robbed blind by her label and the Neptunes. She told The Guardian in 2020, the Neptunes and their lawyers robbed me blind. She earned nothing from Kaleidoscope or Wonderland, her second album that Virgin didn't even release in the US, despite UK success. Then there's her personal life. Married to Nas from 2005 to 2010, she filed for divorce while 7 months pregnant with their son Knight, citing domestic abuse. She told Oprah in 2016 that Rihanna's 2009 beating woke me up to her own situation. The messy divorce, custody battles, and Nas's subsequent diss tracks drained her emotionally and financially. Here's where her story takes a turn that shows her true resilience. In 2007, amid promoting Kellis Was Here, she enrolled at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris and NYC, graduating as a trained saucier. She told Harper's Bazaar, it opened my life. No one cared I was famous. Her mother's catering business had inspired this pivot, and tracks like Milkshake from the Tasty album, See the Connection, had foreshadowed her food obsession all along. By 2014, she released Food, a soul funk return that critics praised as her best work. The Independent gave it 5 stars. Met called it 2014's top album. She followed up with Bounty and Full Sauces in 2015 and her cookbook, My Life on a Plate, proving she was serious about this culinary journey. But here's where it gets really interesting. In 2020, she sold her LA mansion and bought a 4-acre farm in Temecula, California, with 100 animals, chickens, sheep, cattle. Then in 2024, frustrated by racism and lack of opportunities for Black women investing in America, Kellis made a bold move. She relocated to Nairobi, Kenya. She told the Earn Your Leisure podcast, as a Black woman, I don't benefit from investing here. She bought 150 acres in Kenya for around $2,000 per month mortgage, something that would be impossible to afford in California. With her mother, aunt, and kids, she's building a solar fenced farm that's elephant-proof, a wellness retreat set to open in 2026, and a restaurant emphasizing Afro-Caribbean fusion. She's planning to expand to 300 acres eventually. In October 2025, she gave an update on her Kenyan life, describing it as the African dream, safe, investable. Her income from the farm is modest, probably around $50,000 to $100,000 from produce sales and her sauce line, but it's supplemented by streaming royalties. Kellis's journey from Milkshake to milking cows, from Harlem to Nairobi, proves that reinvention isn't about running away from your past, it's about building a future on your own terms. MC Hammer. Now let's chop it up about one of hip-hop's most iconic figures and cautionary tales. MC Hammer, born Stanley Kirk Burrell on March 30th, 1962 in Oakland, California. This brother didn't just make music, he created a whole cultural movement with those hammer pants, those choreographed dances, and that infectious energy that had everybody from kids to grandmas trying to slide across their living room floors. Nicknamed Hammer as a child for resembling baseball legend Hank Aaron, Stanley grew up in a cramped Oakland apartment with 10 siblings. He served as a bat boy for the Oakland A's, getting that nickname from Reggie Jackson himself. After a failed tryout with the Giants, he joined the U.S. Navy from 1980 to 1982, where he developed his showmanship skills. After getting discharged, he formed a Christian rap group called Holy Ghost Boys and self-released Feel My Power in 1986 with $20,000 borrowed from Oakland A's owner Walter A. Haas III. He started his own label, Busted Productions, and signed with Capitol Records. The 1988 album Feel My Power, repackaged as Let's Get It Started, went double platinum, but 1990 was when Hammer took over the planet. Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him dropped with that Rick James sampling You Can't Touch This, and the song hit number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, won Best Rap Solo Performance at the Grammys, and pushed the album to diamond status. Over 10 million copies sold in the US alone, making it the first rap album to go diamond. At 28 years old, Hammer was everywhere. MTV, commercials, Saturday, morning cartoons. He He had a Mattel doll, a cartoon called Hammerman, endorsement deals with Pepsi and KFC. His live shows featured 40 dancers doing synchronized routines. He was touring the world with a 200-person entourage. The money was flowing like water. He was pulling in $33 million annually in 1991, which would be about $70 million adjusted for inflation. But here's where the story takes a dark turn that every young artist needs to learn from. Hammer was spending money like it would never stop coming. He built a 42,000 square foot mansion in Fremont with gold gates, a pants-shaped swimming pool, marble statues, the whole works. He employed 200 people, dancers, chefs, security, nannies, costing him between $500,000 to $1 million per month.
Everybody knew that I had 200 employees. It wasn't no secret. So what you think, I was paying them in hamburgers? Somebody was paying that payroll. I was doing that. So if you wanted to now say the story is MC Hammer just pissed his money off when you knew that I was employing 200 people from my community, it said more about you than it did about me.
Hammer's defense was always that he was employing his community, giving back to the hood, keeping cats off the streets. And there's truth in that. He told I'm a Mama in 2025, I employed my community, but the math just didn't work. His record label, Busted Records, signed talents but hemorrhaged money on unprofitable acts. Legal fees from sample lawsuits piled up, bad real estate investments, no financial advisors keeping him in check. By 1996, Hammer filed for bankruptcy with $13 million in debt. The IRS came knocking with an $800,000 tax lien in 2013 for debts dating back to 1996. But here's where Hammer's story gets redemptive. Bankruptcy was rock bottom, but faith, rooted in his Pentecostal upbringing and his 1984 conversion, resurfaced. He was ordained as a minister in the Church of God in Christ, COGIC, in the late 90s, redefining MC as Man of Christ. He officiated celebrity weddings, Corey Feldman in 2002, Vince Neil in 2005. He preached at prisons and youth groups. He sold his assets, moved to a modest suburban home, and started living within his means. The 2009 reality show Hammer Time showcased his preaching alongside family life. He also pivoted to tech investments, becoming an early advocate for platforms like YouTube and co-creating DanceJam.com, which helped fund his ministry work. By 2025, at 63, Hammer lives in Tracy, California, leading COGIC services and mentoring young people via social media, where he has over 1 million followers on Twitter. Terminator X. Now let's talk about one of hip-hop's most mysterious and innovative figures, Terminator X, born Norman Lee Rogers on August 25, 1966, in New York City. As the DJ for Public Enemy, this cat was the sonic architect behind one of the most militant, politically charged sounds in hip-hop history, all while maintaining an enigmatic, almost stoic presence that earned him the nickname Speaks with His Hands. Rogers started out as a mobile DJ called DJ Mellow D in the Long Island scene, getting recruited by Chuck D in 1985 for his underground radio show on Adelphi University's WBAU. Chuck renamed him Terminator X, symbolizing the termination of nonsense and the mysterious unknown factor, the X. That name would become legendary. Public Enemy's 1987 debut, Yo Bum Rush the Show, introduced their raw political sound, with Terminator X's cuts on tracks like Public Enemy No. 1 earning praise for their aggression. But 1988's It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back was when Terminator X truly showed his genius. His scratches on Rebel Without a Pause, pioneering the Transformer technique, and Bring the Noise helped propel the album to number 1 on the top R&B hip-hop albums chart, selling over 1.5 million copies. At just 22 years old, Terminator X was a hip-hop icon, touring with Flavor Flav and Professor Griff, embodying the Bomb Squad's chaotic production style. His headspin, scratches, and sample layering influenced DJs like Premier and Q-Bert. Albums like Fear of a Black Planet, 1990, and Apocalypse 91, The Enemy Strikes Black, 1991, showcased his production growth, with tracks like 911 Is a Joke and Fight the Power becoming anthems. But in 1994, everything changed when Terminator X suffered a severe motorcycle accident that shattered his left leg. A month in the hospital, permanent injury, limited mobility for tours. The crash forced him to relocate to a 15-acre farm in Vance County, North Carolina, for recovery, straining his Public Enemy commitments. The physical toll was just part of it, though. In a 2014 interview with Crazy Hood, Terminator X talked about Public Enemy's greed and cutthroat environment that alienated him. That includes Public Enemy, tensions with Chuck D over creative control and finances, Professor Griff's 1989 exit after the anti-Semitism controversy, Flavor Flav's constant antics. It all added up. By 1998, Rogers was ready to retire, and DJ Lord replaced him. So what did Terminator X do? He fully embraced life on his North Carolina farm, raising African black ostriches and emus with his family. The media latched onto to this ostrich farmer narrative, turning him into a punchline for some, but for Terminator X, it was peace. It was escape from the nonsense he'd been terminating through his scratches for over a decade. The farm business lasted into the early 2000s before hurricane damage ended it, according to Chuck D, but the time away from hip-hop's chaos restored him. He got married to Robin Duggar in 2018, focused on family, and found balance. Then something interesting happened. Public Enemy was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013, and legendary producer Quincy Jones gave him a pep talk that reignited his passion for DJing. He launched the Edge of Panic radio show on rapstation.com in 2013, started performing sporadically, like a 2023 party set in Durham, and by 2024, announced worldwide solo tours. By 2025, at 59, Terminator X is back on the circuit, performing Public Enemy classics at clubs and events worldwide. He's no longer involved with farming. Wikipedia's 2025 update confirms he stepped away from that in the early 2000s, but the experience grounded his unknown X persona in ways that fame never could. Tracy Lee. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about a rap legend who represents the ultimate pivot from rap to real-world hustle. Tracy Lee, born Tracy Lee Dobbs on October 22nd, 1970 in Buffalo, New York, and raised in Philadelphia. This brother's story is about more than just making music. It's about using the lessons from the industry to empower the next generation. Tracy fell in love with hip-hop at age 9 when he heard Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight in 1979. By 11, he was writing rhymes, dreaming of being an MC in Philly during its golden era, with Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince, Steady B, and Cool C running things. He was a solid high school basketball and baseball player who could have gone D2 on scholarships, but he chose Howard University instead, getting his BA in communications in 1993. At Howard, he was grinding in campus ciphers, shopping demos while interning in DC's music scene. His mentor, Mark Pitts, who would later become a Bad Boy exec, signed him to Bystorm Universal in 1996. The debut single, The Theme, It's Party Time, dropped in early 1997, and yo, that joint was everywhere. Produced by Derek D. Angeletti, it was pure energy, horns blaring, party vibes, the type of track that made you move whether you wanted to or not. The remix featured the notorious B.I.G., recorded just weeks before his murder, which gave the song even more weight. It charted for 37 weeks, hitting number 3 on Hot Dance Maxi Singles sales and number 6 on Hot Rap Singles. At 26, Tracy was performing on BET's Rap City, Teen Summit, The Keenan Ivory Weigh-In Show, and HBO's R-List. His debut album, Many Faces, dropped March 25th, 1997, featuring Busta Rhymes and that posthumous Biggie verse on Keep Your Hands High. But just like that, the shine faded. Many Faces only peaked at number 109 on the Billboard 200, selling somewhere between 250,000 to 500,000 copies. Respectable, but not enough to keep Universal invested. The Theme had typecast him as a party rapper, right when gangster rap was dominating with DMX and Jay-Z. No second single got proper push, follow-up stalled, and by 2001, Universal dropped him. At 30 years old, Tracy was humbled but not broken. He told BET in 2023 that his biggest issue was not having proper legal representation. I didn't have proper legal rep, corporate, not entertainment. That realization became his North Star. So what did he do? He enrolled at Southern University Law Center, becoming the first ex-major label rapper to earn a JD, graduating in 2006. He passed the DC bar on his first try and immediately focused on entertainment law, the very field that had failed to protect him. In 2012, he founded LLF Entertainment with his wife, Lori Nelson Lee, offering publishing and management services. He also established Trey Lee Inc. for consulting. But Tracy didn't just want to practice law. He wanted to teach the next generation how to avoid his mistakes. In 2016, he became an adjunct professor at Coppin State University, teaching the business of music to HBCU students. His message in that classroom is simple but powerful: business over talent. He breaks down contracts, explains publishing splits, shows students how record deals really work, all the stuff he wishes someone had taught him at 26. The job probably pays around $40,000 to $60,000 combined with his law practice, but the impact is immeasurable. And here's the beautiful part: Tracy never stopped making music. In 2014, he dropped ESQ, the revelation via L Left TuneCore, blending rap with legal metaphors on tracks like Free Consultation. He followed with Expect the Unexpected 2019, Glory 2020, and Summer 24 Mixtape 2024, the latter hosted by DJ Parlay. Singles like Let It Go featuring Sean Ice fuse hip-hop with Caribbean vibes, showing his evolution as an artist. By 2025, at 55, Tracy serves on the Recording Academy's Washington, D.C. Music Business Committee, advocating for fair contracts and proper artist compensation. He keynotes symposia, consults for indie artists, and teaches future industry professionals. His estimated net worth sits around $1 to $2 million from law, royalties, and speaking engagements. Thanks for watching. Want to see more like this? Click the suggested cards on your screen to continue watching.